Hello folks, and welcome to another Richard Head Longbows video. This is part 3 of making a bow with a bad back. I feel like Ted Rogers. If you've missed the first part, I'll stick it up here on the cards, and also the second part, I'll stick that up there as well. Probably best to watch those if you haven't watched them, otherwise this one's not going to make a lot of sense. This really is just a quick one to follow up on what happened with this bow eventually. On last week's episode, it kind of feels like watching Neighbours, doesn't it? I'd got to the stage where I was happy with the bow and I was going to put the nocks on and do the final tillering, because I usually leave the tips slightly stiff because of the amount of wood that I will remove when applying the nocks. So well, as you can see, I've put those nocks are on there. Now that's the top knock. We've just been starting doing the shaping up of those, in the bottom knock all the way over here where the bow is not on it. There we are. Oh, and also the arrow plate is in there as well, the mother of pearl arrow plate. Hopefully that's showing up there on the video. So I'm going to show you what the shape of this looks like now. So because I've put those nocks on, I've reduced those stiff areas, or certainly intentionally stiff areas of the tips there, and I've been doing some of the final tillering. So let's have a look at that and see what that looks like now. Slow continual draw there up to 26, which those of you who've remembered or have nipped off and watched the other videos will know that's what was required by the customer. So 26 inches there. And again, just to point out, those of you who missed it, I have actually got the numbers on the tiller here, so I'm going down to 26, which is down there marked with a pencil, make it a bit easier to see there. So let's do that again. So that was some slow draws, so let's draw it a little bit quicker now. Much more pleased with the overall shape now. And also something to watch out for when you do put nocks on. They can also artificially change the shape in your mind's eye, depending on the style of nock that you go for. So it's something to be aware of, particularly if you're making a bow with a longer nock like these here, which I say they are quite long. They're quite elaborate, the ones that I'm using here. They're quite a length. I'll show my hand to give you some comparison. They can change the shape. In fact, this is often something that crops up in photos, well, pictures. You often notice it. You think, oh, that's very sort of a whip-ended bow, or people will say things like that, and often it's the nocks. If you remove the nocks visually, try and cover them up with my hands there, it can change the shape and the way it looks, but it's more so in movement when you've got it at full draw, or certainly when you're tillering it. So it's just another one of those things I like to do very much last. I like to put the nocks on. If you can hear some strange noises, it's because I've got some help in the workshop today. Got Rita helping me. She's tidying up for me, aren't you, Rita? Always good to get a second opinion when you're making bows. So yes, I'm much happier with that shape. And also, again, those of you who remember, in the bottom limb we had a knot which we left some wood around to strengthen the area up. Well, I've managed to get that moving a lot better now. We're getting a lot more even overall bend on the bow. So really the next stages are to finish off doing those nocks, and obviously to do the final finishing as far as sanding the bow is concerned. So I take that off the tiller, and we can also check the measurements now and see if we're happy with those final measurements. See if we've got the discrepancy between the two limbs correct. If I can find me, where's it going? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're using from the top of the handle here, we're going up 8 inches. That is 4, 5, 6, so about 6 or so, 6 and 6/8, 8 inches from the bottom there to here, and it's about 5. So yeah, we've got slight more bend in the top limb, which is what we want, than the bottom. I can still continue to fiddle with that if I want. But obviously there's quite a few tool marks. I don't know whether that's showing up there on the video. So obviously those will need to be got rid of, and will obviously affect the bow slightly. So again, more things to be careful of as you're working on it. Again, like I said before, I'm making something for a customer, so I'm trying to get to a specific way. So I have to look out for that sort of thing and be a bit more careful. If you're making a bow for yourself, having your first attempts at making a bow, then obviously those sorts of things aren't going to necessarily be something that you need to worry about. Again, trying to keep this short. I've weighed up the bow since getting it to this stage, and it's now coming out at 58. So we're £2 shy of what the customer originally asked for. But like I mentioned in the other videos, I'll let the person try it out at this stage and see if they're happy with it. See if it suits their needs. If not, it means I can alter it and get it down to a weight perhaps that somebody else wants, if they want 50 or 55. So it may end up going to another customer. Certainly fingers crossed, although it's a waste of time. So yeah, finishing off the bow, I'll just quickly show you some of that process as far as using sandpaper is concerned. Again, this also depends on how much work you've done during that tillering process. Now, a lot of the larger tool marks can be removed with just using the file. I don't know whether you can see those, whether they're showing up on the screen there, but there's some quite distinct marks on that handle section there. So yeah, those are gone now, those larger marks. The next stage I tend to do after that sort of work with the file, I tend to then use the scraper fairly lightly so it doesn't end up with any flat spots. So again, that's actually now quite smooth. It's actually quite smooth to the touch there. The next stage then really is your choice of sandpaper. So reasonably, what's this? This is 120. Just work on that small area there. Okay, again, I mean that's pretty good already, but we will go through the normal processes I use, and then another slightly lighter one, lighter grit. You are going to need to buy yourself successively lighter grit sandpapers to help you with this, and then we tend to use this stuff, which I can never remember the name of. It's P240. And this is very, 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 very light. Very small amount this takes off. Almost like an emery cloth, almost like you're polishing it, to be honest with you. Again, I really don't know how well that's coming out on the video, but that's looking very smooth. I think we try and compare it to the other areas. So here, don't know if that helps. Focus the camera a bit on that area. You'll probably see the difference there. And as this one is also got a U core in it, there is something further you can do which is called boning, which is you're basically compressing the fibres. They call it boning because you use a bone from an animal, so the shiny side, and you can just compress the fibres there. I might have something down here. This piece of wood will do much the same job. So that just compresses the fibres. Works much better on things like the U, which is a much softer wood and will respond well to that sort of work. I don't think you can see the shine compared to where I haven't been there. If I turn the bow and catch the light there, that's the section I've done there. So you end up with a really nice finish on there. So that's what I'll need to do to the rest of the bow there. That'll take an hour or two, and then also I'll need to finish off the horn knock here. Okay folks, well that's as far as I'm going to go with this bow. I can give this to the customer now so they can try it out and see whether it's suitable. Say it's come out about £2 under the weight that they wanted, so we'll have to see, and fingers crossed on that one. Yeah, if you'd like to check out the other videos in this series, then please do check them out. If you'd like to subscribe, you don't have to, it's up to you. It'd be great if you do. If you want to join us, that'd be brilliant. And yeah, we'll just see what Rita thinks. What do you reckon, Rita? Is it a winner? Is it a good one? What do you think? See you soon everybody. Thanks for watching.